Hello, welcome to another Dark Mushroom Media bullshit Hearthstone cast. Because me and Palmer like Hearthstone a lot.
Woo!
With me is Palmer and his malfunctioning Skypeness. It's going to be awesome.
Woo!
So yeah, new expansion. This time around, instead of a full-on expansion, it is a adventure.
It's a woo!
It's a woo. So we're just going to hop right into it. Starting with the class cards.
Oh, lordy.
Actually, do you want to do Druid or do you want me to do Druid?
I'll take it. Whatever.
Because I only play Cthulhu Druid.
Cthulhu.
Well, Beast Druid now.
Cthulhu.
Yes, that.
Cthulhu.
Alright.
Alright. What do we have here? Druid. Druid's got 3 cards.
All classes do, Palmer.
They're interesting, I guess.
Yeah, one of them. 2 of them, actually.
So the first one's Enchanted Raven. It's 1 mana for a 2/2.
With the beast tag.
Yeah, it does have a beast tag. Probably one of the most broken early game cards Blizzard has ever released.
I don't know, they've released some pretty broken early game cards.
I mean, this has no drawback. It's 1 mana for 4 stats. This is pretty incredible. It's evenly distributed, so you don't have like a lot of health on it, but honestly, 2 attack is enough to kill pretty much anything within the 1 to 2 mana range, with like the exception of a handful of things.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's got a beast tag means that it's actually pretty relevant late game, even mid game, because it really any sort of like thing that Druid might have to boost any sort of beast will make this immediately more powerful. And like I said, it's 1 mana, so it doesn't really get much better than that. It's really needed for the Druid. Prepare for just nothing but that. What's the name of that 1 mana cost card that they have that summons roots? 2/1/1 roots. Yeah. So prepare for that, or Enchanted Raven to be the opener of every single beast deck.
Yep.
Pretty much from here until cards get cycled again. After that, we've got the Menagerie Warden. It's also a common. It's a 5/5 for 6 mana. Battle Cry. Choose friendly beast and summon a copy of it. It's pretty sweet.
I think it's one of the strongest cards in the expansion. Without
that's a damn good card. It's a little underpowered for 6 mana, but you get an extra thing. In Arena, I think this card is fucking incredible.
Constructed, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play enough Beast Druid to really... I can't think of any like things that would combo with right now off the top of my head. I'd have to like...
Stranglethorn Tiger, Druid of the Claw, any fucking beast. Stranglethorn Tiger is kind of everyone's go-to because it has stealth and it would pretty much live guaranteed to the next turn, but that's kind of the dream hand. But even just a Druid of the Claw or something like that, even just a Raptor or just something that isn't, you know, a 1/1, it's pretty good fucking value.
Yeah,
and if it's damaged, it doesn't matter because it's summons a copy of it.
I'm assuming it's whatever's in play currently, right?
Yeah.
Like when you play this card, you choose whatever beast you have in play, and it summons a copy of it.
Correct.
Would it summon all the stats, or would it summon just a brand new copy of it?
It would summon a brand new copy of it. So if you copy a damaged one, you get a brand new one.
All right, that's pretty good. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely going to happen. We're going to see a lot of it in Constructed, I'm sure, but I think we're going to see a shitload of it in Arena. So between this and Enchanted Raven, Druids have 2 very, very good fucking Arena cards. And then finally we have Moonglade Portal. It's a rare spell for 6 mana. It's restore 6 health, summon a random 6-cost minion. Out of these portal cards, I think this is one of the weakest ones. It's pretty costly. I mean, yeah, you get a minion out of it too. I think it's right on the cusp of being something awesome. I think it just needs to heal for a little more.
I think it's better than most, just because the other ones are kind of shit. But yeah, pretty much all the portal cards are kind of meh, except for one that would be amazing in Arena. But even in Constructed, it's kind of meh. But yeah, I think this one, it's not good, but I think of the portal cards, it's definitely in the top, I don't know, 3 or however many they released. Probably third. Barely makes it in, I'll give it that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It'll have interesting potential if you can get a good 6 cost minion out of it. The downside is it's just like, if it was like, I'd almost rather it be like a cost 7 mana, you regain 7 health and get a 7 cost minion, because there's so many better cost minions out there than the 6 cost ones, because there's a lot of really mediocre 6 cost minions. But could be good. Could be good. We'll have to see how the community responds to it, I guess. If anything, it's just extra survivability, I guess, for Druid.
Yeah.
But yeah, on to the next one. Tim, take the reins.
Hunter! First card is a 2-cost 1/1 beast its death rattle is to summon a 3/2 other beast. Kindly Grandmother. This card's awesome. I'm absolutely putting this in my N'Zoth Beast deck. It's probably going to replace Huge Toad. Huge Toad has the nice stat line, but the 1 damage doesn't really matter. I pretty much only ran it because of the death rattle in its early games, so, you know, synergy. But I think this is better, honestly. So, yeah. And it's a common, so I think it'll be pretty good for Arena as well.
I mean, my problem with it is it's just it's 1/1, and yeah, it summons a 3/2, but it's like something like a 3/2 is pretty easy to deal with. If it was like a 3/3, it'd be a problem, or like, you know, even a 2/3, it would be a problem. I think if they just flipped the stats, it would be a lot bigger of a threat, or a lot.
Oh
more
yeah, but as it is, it's still for 2 mana. Pretty solid card.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's going to force your opponent to trade into it early game, but it's also just, I don't know.
And when
it's
you're running
got the beast tag, it could have some interesting synergy.
When you're running a N'Zoth deck, especially when you're up against something like a Control Warrior that can just like brawl your board, you ideally try to get the brawls out of the way, but if it can't be helped, a minion like this, like after they fucking basically clear your board, it's nice to have something else pop up from it. Just in the long game, so that's why I think I'd run this over Huge Toad, personally, because King's Elec is still good for draw, so I don't want to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Because Hunters need draw, which brings me to the next card, Cloaked Huntress, which is a 3-cost 3/4. Your secrets cost 0. It's kind of like a shittier Mysterious Challenger for the Hunter class. Initially, I thought this card was the shit, and then I thought about it for 3 seconds, and
You have to have all your secrets in your hands.
And even if you do, you, like, empty your hand and you have no draw. Like, it's, It might see some play. I might try to fuck around with it, but the idea of, like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my god, Secret Hunter is going to be a thing. Secret Hunter is not going to be a thing. But
no way.
Some people might try to squeeze it in. It's not awful for 3 costs, just the stat line of a 3/4. And even if you have 1 secret in your hand, that's value. But again, you're a hunter. You're not exactly known for going through your deck very quickly, even with your flair.
Well, hunters aren't necessarily about value either. They're more just about like throwing everything out on the board and just kind of going for face. At least they have been up until this recent expansion.
Before Whisper of the Old. Now you can actually play mid-range hunter, trade and shit. Face was the place, though. I will give you that.
Yeah, and I mean, I still see that still seems to be the case with a lot of hunter decks.
Aggro Shaman just beats it up so hard, though.
So yeah, this thing just like doesn't seem to really have any potential, I think.
Yeah. Might see play, probably won't.
Yeah.
Next card is a secret. It's a 2 mana cost card by the name of Cat Trick. And it's after your opponent casts a spell, summon a 2/4 Panther with Stealth. And not really sure this card's going to see a lot of play. I like that it's after your opponent casts a spell, but it's a 2/4. And it's got stealth, though. It's just, it's I don't know. It's kind of weak, in my opinion.
Yeah, dude, I don't see what the point of this card is, to be completely honest. It's not like, if it was like, summon some sort of beast that takes the damage of the spell or something like that, then like, or like makes, if they made it similar to what the fuck is that mage spell that summons a 1/3 and turns it into, and makes it so it targets that. Like, if it was something similar to that, or like, I mean, I don't know. It's just I don't know. It just seems awful. It's a bad rare card. I don't know if that's all that needs to be said about it.
Yeah. And it will probably never see play in Arena. Should take over the mage class, Palmer.
Okay, we've got Medivh's Valet. So it's a 2 mana for a 2/3. It's common. Battle Cry. If you control a secret, deal 3 damage. I don't know. I mean, I just don't see secrets played that much on Mage anymore. It's possible that this will get some sort of nod, at least initially. I'm sure it will initially.
Spell heavy decks might stick it out, but yeah, it takes up a card slot where
the only thing that I can really see this being viable in is like a Reno Mage. Other than that, I just don't. I think Mage has too many other good two-drop cards that they would rather.
Yeah, like you could run it in a Freeze Mage, but you'd be taking something else out that you'd want in a Freeze Mage deck. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. It could be. I'm gonna experiment with it definitely because I really like trying to like make secrets work in Mage decks. But we'll see whether or not it actually does anything to change the way mages are played. Next up is one of the most egregious arena cards I think I've ever seen in my fucking life.
That everyone's getting for free.
That it's just
arena. Yeah, you're right. Well, bad.
It's just like this card is something else. Anyways, it's Firelands Portal. It is the best out of the Portal cards. I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah.
7 mana. Deal 5 damage, summon a random 5-cost minion. So basically, you're paying 7 mana to remove a good portion of the creature. Like, unless you're facing up against something huge, that's going to be that's still like big removal, and you get a 5-cost minion out of it. So in Arena, this is like one of the most broken things you can possibly play. Like, you're getting hyper value. You're basically getting like a fucking fireball and a 5-cost minion for 7. For like what would cost you 9 mana is going to cost you 7 mana. So you're getting a 2 mana cost reduction on this. You're destroying whatever's on the board, and you're getting a creature out of it. I don't know. The fact that this has a common tag just
Russell's people's jimmies and right.
It really just doesn't make any sense, especially when Mage already have too much removal in Arena, and like that's pretty much like I don't know. Like the last few times we've done these recordings, it's been me with more of a focus on competitive, but I really don't play that much like ladder anymore. I play pretty much just like nothing but Arena. I don't know. I just got kind of bored of.
No, I get it. I even started. I've never touched Arena. Now I'm playing Arena.
And well, Arena's like really fun still. Like I don't know. You go in there with some sort of a challenge, and you just never really know what you're gonna go up against. So it could be any amount of things. But like this right here takes a class that's already too powerful. I mean, I don't want to say that it's going to make it better than Rogue, but it's certainly going to cement its place as like the number 2 most successful class in Arena, without a doubt.
I can agree with that.
Then we have Babbling Book. This is also where I get a little peeved. So Babbling Book is a 1 mana 1/1 battle cry. Add a random mage spell to your hand. Not a bad card, but it's got a rare tag on it. Tell me why the Babbling Book has a rare tag on it, but Firelands Portal doesn't. If they flip those 2 tags around, I think people would have been a lot less pissed off.
They'd still be pissed off, but they would be a lot less pissed off.
At this whole situation, because you really wouldn't see that many Fireland Portals, you know? Like, you're over here dealing with Shaman that has 1 fucking board clear. 2 fucking board clears. 1 has a rare tag, 1 has an epic tag. And fucking Major over here with just nothing but common spells that just remove everything. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. Just, like, whatever you throw on the board, Mage will just be like, hey, buddy, go fuck yourself. Like, that's just the way it is with Mage. I don't know, it's silly. But Babbling Book, back to that piece of crap. I don't know, I think it's a piece of crap. I don't know what else to say other than that. I really don't. You have a decent chance of getting something special. I'm over here ranting about how all Mage cards are already, like, OP, but spells are, like, ridiculously good right now. But there's a whole bunch of crappy ones, too. So I think I watched some stream. It was either Trump or Crip or one of those 2 guys that were talking about, like, the percentage of, like what kind of good spells you can get. And it's, like, 60-40, pretty much. So it's a good card, I guess. But
I think a lot of spell-heavy decks will run it.
Maybe, but is it enough to replace Mana Worm, honestly?
No, nothing replaces Mana Worm.
So then why would you even consider this?
Because Mage's early game, mayhaps, instead of just throwing out Frost Bolts. Well, I guess you have the
but you have
AoE card. What is that fucking...
The Fire Worm
Fire Torch
guy.
Fire
No. Look at the 2/4 that deals damage. One
yeah.
I mean, like, they don't need any help in that regard.
No.
Like, their early game is fine. It's 3 mana for a 2/4.
I will say it would absolutely be running something like a Reno Mage, though.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess so. If you really want to reach for that, maybe. I don't know, dude. I don't even think it would get. Maybe. I guess, yeah. One worm, one of these. Yeah, I guess so. That could work.
It fills out the slot nicely in that.
Yeah, instance. And it rounds you off. It gives you something that you can work with. I just think it's a mediocre card. I don't think it's that great.
Yeah, it's not that great. That's definitely something I can agree with you on.
What are we on to next? Paladins.
Paladin.
Go.
Nightbane Templar, new dragon card. It is a 3-cost 2/3 battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, summon 2 1/1 whelps that are dragons themselves. So I'm building a Paladin dragon deck, and I'm really looking forward to running this card. It's
You remember when that was a thing for a little while, and people were like, "Oh my god, dude, Paladin dragons for life." It's just disappeared off the face of the earth for whatever reason.
Yeah, and then it wasn't, but some people still try it. But with this, just as some early game to get you to the mid-late game when you can start dropping your dragons, it's fucking fantastic. I cannot wait to fuck around with this card. This is one of my favorite cards of this expansion, but I'm kind of biased as I played Dragon Priest for like a year, and Dragon Priest now is, well, Priest now in general is just new, so looking forward to fucking with that. Moving on to the next portal, which is the Paladin portal, Silver Moon Portal. It is a 4-cost spell, give a minion +2/+2, and summon a random 2-cost minion.
I think this card is kind of underestimated, personally.
There's the thing you have to keep in mind is not only do you have to have something on the board to really use it, or obviously to use it, but there are a lot of shitty 2-cost minions. That's my big thing with this card, is just there's a lot of shitty 2-cost minions.
Mm-hmm.
More bad than good, so...
Maybe.
I remember skimming through, because when I first saw this, I was like, 2-cost minion. I skimmed through all my 2-cost minions, and just a lot more of them were worse than not. So I don't know. It might see play in some weird decks, but I just do not see this becoming a thing at all.
I think it's a very good arena card.
Yeah. It's an okay arena card, in my opinion.
I think it's a great arena card. Really, really fantastic arena card, even because, like, it doesn't take much for Paladins to have something on the board in arena. Any sort of buff like that is going to immediately make it so, like, your tempo is just increased hugely in your favor, and you get another body on the board.
Yeah, I guess if there's, like, a board clear on, like, 5 and then 6 rolls around, you could play a Silver Knight or Silver Hand and buff it and get a 2-cost and kind of throw some shit on the board. So, I don't know. Maybe might be good. Might be good.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent card.
Moving on to Ivory Knight, which is a 6-cost 4/4 battle cry. Discover a spell. Restore health. What is it? Restore health to your hero equal to its cost.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this. I like this. I like the idea behind the card, but you're more likely to get a Paladin, or I'm sorry, like a Paladin Secrets or a thing, and they cost 1 mana, and a lot of them kind of suck. So that's kind of determined. But Paladin also has really good, powerful spells, like, give a minion 4/4.
Is it limited to class? Because it just says discover a spell. It doesn't say discover, like, a Paladin
I think the way it is it's you're like, it's like 60 or 80% chance to be your class, or something like that. I remember they talked that mechanic came up with Old Gods, and that was the way it was explained. So you're more likely to get a Paladin card than not. But Paladin do have expensive spells that can heal you for a lot and buff the shit out of a minion, or summon some stuff, or do some other stuff. I mean, you could get a Silver Moon Portal off this, and if you play it on turn 10, you could buff it up to a 6/6, heal, and get another minion on the board.
Good.
Very RNG reliant, as everything with this goddamn expansion is, because it's Hearthstone, but I think it might see play. People are definitely going to be tinkering with it, like, when the expansion is fully released and everything's out, I think. Just to see how it works.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
But I guess you could say that about a lot of these cards.
Pretty much.
You know what people won't be fucking around with, Palmer? The new Priest cards.
Oh my god, dude. Can you explain why? Can you tell me why that might be the case?
They're awful. They're awful. Reddit raised a shitfest. It's a card by the name of Purify. It is a 2-cost spell that silences a friendly minion and draws you a card.
That sounds like value. That sounds like a trip to Value Town right there.
This guy's toast. This guy's toast tried to build a silent priest deck, and he went from rank 17 to rank 20 with no stars inside of, like, I don't know, I think it was like an hour or so.
Good for him.
It was amazing.
Really just seizing the ladder by its fucking heels and just dragging it.
Exactly.
Dragging it towards victory. Yeah, I legitimately just don't understand.
Mr. Ben Brody came out and said, well, this card was meant to be fun, and people were just like, yeah, but Priest is awful. Why give it to Priest? Give someone else a fun card, give Priest a card so they can actually, you know, get some board going early game. But
I just don't even understand what are you gonna silence, dude?
Like, there's like Eerie Statue, Ancient Watcher, but all that shit isn't worth it. Yeah, and it really isn't worth it. It's 6 mana for a 4/4. Meanwhile, fucking Shamans can coin out a 7/7 on turn 3 and buff to a Tunnel Trog at the same turn. Like, it's retarded. It's bad. It's very bad. It's bad. Moving on, the next priest card is a 4-cost 3/6 Priest of the Feast. Whenever you cast a spell, restore 3 health to your hero. Also, not a good card, really, at all. Because by the time you get this on the board, like, you know, your Power Word shields are probably out of your hand. What are you dropping? Like a Holy Nova or like an Holy Fire? I just don't see Priest getting a whole lot of value out of this. The 4-cost 3/6 isn't an awful stat line because some other cards in the expansion are the same stat line. They cost twice. It costs 2 more mana. But I don't see this card being played rather. Like, yeah. Moving on to the last priest card, Onyx Bishop. It's a 5-cost 3/4 battlecry. Summon a friendly minion that died this game. It's basically a resurrect tacked on to a 3/4 body. Resurrect historically hasn't really worked out well for priest. I don't know why it would with this card. It's kind of like
because you're getting at least a little bit of value with it. You're still getting a minion.
Yeah, but it's a 3/4 for. It's just this is definitely the least shittiest of the priest cards. So.
If you can control what you're summoning, like, it may not be too bad.
Yeah, but the idea is priest surviving that long to get value out of this card.
Yeah, no, I'm not disputing you. I think in the future this will be a much better card than it is right now.
Well, they're going to try to make all these shitty cards better in the future just to keep fucking Reddit from scratching their eyes out again. But
yeah,
it's just, the priest cards are awful. It's just awful.
Yeah.
I will say Onyx Bishop is the one that might see play. Maybe.
Well, the priests just aren't going to see play, so we'll never. It's still
that won't be a thing. Yeah. All right, why don't you take over to the rogue?
Oh, I'm gonna do some rogues.
Do some rogues.
All right. First up, we've got Swashbuckler. Ooh, he's swashing and burgling.
Do what you want. A pirate is free.
Yeah, exactly, precisely. It's a 1-mana 1/1 battle cry. Add a random class card to your hand from your opponent's class. This is interesting. How much more this rogue archetype is going towards theft. I think it's a very interesting mechanic. I think probably like 2 more expansions, we're going to see a very viable rogue deck that just relies entirely on stealing class cards.
Yeah, but after the next expansion, a lot of the stealing class cards will be rotated out.
I thought they weren't rotating anything out again until the beginning of next year.
Yeah, they're doing one more expansion this year, and then the expansion after that, that's when everything, the TGT and all the shit from last year gets rotated out. Which is like Burgle and a couple other things.
Well, I don't know. I hope they continue with this archetype.
It's cool. It's a 1-mana Burgle. Like, it's a 1/1 on the board, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a pretty good card, and it's got the pirate tag. There's a lot of interesting pirate energy these days. So.
Arg.
May not be the worst card on the face of the earth. I don't think it's particularly good, but it, depending on what you steal, could be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I give it an alright. It's alright.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not a bad way to open up, because you already are starting to play mind games with your opponent, because they have no idea what they got. So, interesting. Next we have Deadly Fork. What a meme. It's a 3-mana 3/2 Death Rattle. Add a 3/2 weapon in your hand. I think this card's actually pretty good. Yeah, it's 3 mana for a 3/2. It's pretty weak on the board, but you get a 3/2 weapon out of it, and like from a body, pretty much.
It's a Fire War Axe that costs more mana, though.
What is the mana cost of this?
The weapon?
Yeah.
3.
Does it say that?
Yeah, if you scroll down to the page, it'll show you. So it's basically just a shittier Fiery War Axe.
Okay, well, I don't know. Still not too bad.
If it costs the same amount as a Fiery War Axis card, would be great, but it doesn't, so that's a thing.
Well, I don't know. I still don't think it's too bad. I think there's some potential for it there.
Fuck that fork.
We'll see. I don't know. It could be interesting. Then finally we have Ethereal Peddler. It's a 5-mana 5/5 battle cry. Reduce the cost of cards in your hand from other classes by 2.
It's 5 mana, 5/6 actually.
Oh, 5/6. Sorry.
Big difference.
Pretty good card when you think about stealing stuff. So, but that's really going to depend on how much you can get away with that and how much that actually turns into a deck archetype in the future. So, I think it's a good card. I think it's got a lot of potential, but at the same time, it's going to depend wholeheartedly on whatever future plans Blizzard has for Rogue. And as long as they don't get something equivalent to Purify, Rogue is always going to be better than pretty much anything. So,
I think it's got a decent chance, both with the Swashbuckler and the Undercity Huckster. I don't think Burgle's really going to be a thing, but like there are a few cards Priest or Rogue has that can steal stuff. So on turn 5 you can drop, and it's a 5/6 body for 5. That's not awful.
Yeah,
it can trade out with most other 5-drops usually. So I think it'll be all right.
It's got some interesting synergy with other cards too. Like what's that one? That neutral card gives you a random Paladin card.
Oh yeah, from a TGT.
Yeah. I don't know. It's got some interesting synergy with other cards. I think Wild is where we're going to start seeing like a really bizarre theft deck, because then you can utilize everything that's come out across the board and see what kind of crazy combos you can come up with there. So, can't wait to see what the community does with that. That'll be fun. Next, we got the Shaman.
I really like this first card. It's really grown on me as I've thought about it.
Yeah, because, anyways. It's called Spirit Claws. It's a 1-mana, 1/3 weapon. And it has +2 attack whenever you have spell damage. Hey, guess what? We're going to make Shaman even more powerful. Thanks, guys. That's basically what Blizzard said. So, it's a conditional card, but it's an OP conditional card if you have the right totem in play.
And you have a 25% chance to roll out the right totem.
Yeah. So, I like it personally.
You're a Shaman player. What are you fucking moping around about? You should be.
I'm not moping.
You sound mopey.
The problem is now, like, everybody plays Shaman. Like, the fun.
The hipster within you just doesn't like that at all.
I really don't. I
played Shaman when it was shitty.
That's part of the reason that I don't play a lot of Constructed anymore. Is because of the fact that everybody plays Shaman or fucking
Warrior.
Yeah. Well, no, not Warrior. I see Shaman or fucking Mage.
Right. Well, I say way more Warrior than Mage.
I really don't bump into much Warrior.
It's either Piratey or Control usually. Hard.
But yeah, or Warlock. I see a lot of fucking Zulok too. That's the other thing.
Zulok, yeah, that's a huge one.
So,
yeah, good card.
It just makes Shaman better. Pretty decent. Considering they lost Tunnel Trog, it's not a bad replacement. Let's see.
Well, they
what
lost
else?
Tunnel Trog.
We're going to with this next rotation. So it's not a bad replacement. Let's see. We've got Wicked Witch Doctor next. It's a 4-mana 3/4. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random basic totem. I pretty much think this card is like mediocre.
Yeah.
I think that it's cool that you can. I'm definitely going to experiment with it because I really want a totem deck to be a viable thing, and I think that this could help that along the way. But I don't think that there's enough that shamans benefit from that doesn't have overload that will keep shamans in play with this Wicked Witch Doctor. I don't know. It's just it's if it was like any totem, if you could summon any totem, then this would be something to deal with. But just a basic totem, it's not bad, but it's not great. I mean, I am definitely gonna fuck around with it though, just to see what I can do with it. And then finally we have Maelstrom Portal. It's a 2-mana spell. It's a rare. Deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Summon a random 1-cost minion. I really as of right now, I really don't know what to think of this card. Part of me thinks it's not bad. Part of me thinks that it's pretty shitty. The parts of me that think it's not bad, it's like, well, it's like the evolve value guy in me is saying, well, that's not awful, but like at the same time,
it's an arcane blast that gets you a 1-cost minion.
Yeah, that just doesn't seem like it's that great. It's a waste of a card slot, I think.
I mean, maybe if you rolled like a spell damage totem with it or something, but yeah, it's just it has the potential to kind of be good, but nah, really.
Yeah, I know. That's basically where I'm at with it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence with what they've done for Shaman, except for the Spirit Claws. I really like that card. And like I said, I'll really play with Wicked Witch Doctor, but Maelstrom, I think that might just be a waste.
Yeah, I might try the Doctor as well. The only deck I have for Shaman is a Totem Shaman deck, so I might try to play around with it. But I'm with you. I don't really see it being terribly good.
Hop on the train to Value Town, dude.
Yeah, obviously. All right, next up is Warlock.
Warlock.
First card is a 1/3 Demon, Malkinzar's Imp. Whenever you discard a card, draw a card. It's got the Demon tag, but that doesn't really matter anymore because Mal'Ganis is gone. But it's a 1/3 for 1. That's kind of good.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not awful.
Their past couple expansions have really been trying to get a discard Warlock thing going, and one of the Warlock cards coming up plays into that. But I just don't really see it being a thing, honestly.
Yeah, I don't see it being a thing either.
It's a cool idea, but like it's just in practice, I just don't see it working at all.
I just think they're releasing these kinds of cards too slowly. If they really wanted a discard Warlock to be a thing, they would release like a clump of these in one expansion and let it go to town.
Yeah.
But they have not done that. Instead, they keep trickling them out, like a couple of them every single time they do an expansion. And as a result, like there's never enough time for all these cards to stack on top of each other. Things get cycled out too quickly. And it just, the concept of the deck is always on... you're on the periphery with the concept of the deck. And you never can get to like the I don't know... what it should be because of the fact that you don't have all the tools at your disposal unless you're playing wild. It's similar with the rogue and the class stealing spell stuff. It's right there on the edge, but it's not quite there yet.
Yeah. Well, I think the rogue deck's a little bit more viable than the fucking discard deck.
Yeah, no, so do I. I mean, I don't know.
Moving on.
Seems like...
Next card, Karazhan. 5-cost spell, summon a 1/1 candle, a 2/2 broom, and a 3/3 teapot.
Disney, please don't sue.
Seriously. It might see play in some weird Zulok variant, but I think this is much better suited for something like Arena. I think this would be a good Arena card.
I think this is a fantastic Arena card. I think it's actually a really good constructed card, too. You're getting 6 stats on multiple bodies. I don't know. I think it might be something that, like, we will see. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like this get put into current meta Zulok decks as, like, a late game option.
Zulok decks do have a lot of, like, low-cost kind of who gives a fuck cards, so you could swap a couple out for a couple of these.
Yeah, and like, think about it. If you had, what the hell's the name of it? The thing that, like, gets +1 attack for every minute.
Oh, the Darkshire fucking whatever.
Yeah. If you have that out while you have this in play as like a late game, and it's not even really late; it's a mid game card.
It's more mid game.
It's one of those things. If you can tempo it out properly, this is incredibly powerful, even in Zulok decks.
You got a Knife Juggler, you got a Darkshire Councilman out, and you just drop this out.
Yeah, and it's honestly like I play a lot of Zulok these days in Constructed. That's pretty much the deck that I use to get from whatever rank until I just lose a game, and then I decide to stop. But the point is, like at the beginning of every season, I usually start at rank 20, and I can get to like 13 without losing, and then I'll call it quits on ranked. So I don't know. I think this card has a lot of potential. I will try to make it work.
Last card.
A lot of people have been kind of iffy on it, though.
I think it definitely has potential. It's definitely more of the playable than not playable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Last card is Civil War Golem. It's a 3-cost 3/3, and its special ability: if you discard this minion, summon it. So again, playing into the discard lock idea. It's great in theory if you could get that off, but I just think more often than not you're going to be discarding something you don't want to discard, and this will just sit in your hand.
I think, once again, they need to do this discard thing with an actual expansion, not an adventure. Like an actual expansion. Like the next time that they release, 150 whatever cards, all the Warlock cards should have something to do with discard. If they really want it to take off. Like, I don't even think that will be enough, honestly. But it'll be a step forward, and if they keep introducing mechanics like the Civil War, or I just said Civil War Golem.
Can't get that out of your head ever, can you, Palmer? Just let it go.
Jesus Christ. With this Golem.
Silverware Golem.
Yes, that's it. I'm fucking
Confederate.
exhausted. I'm fucking exhausted. Keep introducing interesting concepts with this kind of a card. I think discard will take off. But until that point, not a bad card, but it's not like you'd ever want to play that. Like, actually play that from your hand. 3 mana for a 3/3 is kind of shitty.
Indeed. You want to do Warrior, or you want me to do it because you're stroking out?
Yeah, you got me. Go ahead, dude.
I just thought you were going to do Warrior. You're the resident Warrior player here.
I am the resident Warrior.
You're the pay-to-win guy. Pay-to-win class.
I am the pay-to-win class. Don't even care. Can't even see care properly, Tim.
Jeez, all right, Warrior. Fool's Bane. 5-cost, 3/4 weapon. Interesting mechanic. Unlimited attacks each turn, but it can't attack heroes. I think this will see play in like Resident Sleeper Warrior decks where you have 8 million armor and it doesn't matter when you take damage. People might try to incorporate it into that. I've seen, like, from what I've seen from the people, it's either people love this card or they fucking hate it. There's no real middle ground. But I think it has potential. I don't think it's, like, overpowered or, oh my god, it's a board clear. But, yeah.
Well, that's basically what it is. It's a board clear where you take lots of damage.
But even, like, just, swinging a couple times, then saving it, and then, killing some stuff the next turn, it's not like you just have to just clear the board with it. Like, you can hang on to it.
Well, that's kind of how you treat it, though. It's just a board clear that takes place over multiple turns in that case. But, like...
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It's an interesting card. I think it's, once again, it comes back to what I've been saying for a lot of these other classes. I think this is a fantastic arena card. An absolutely fantastic arena.
Yeah, that would be real good in arena.
Constructed, I don't think this is ever going to see play.
Telling you, man, Resident Sleeper decks, I love it.
But there's so many there's better choices out there that exist and constructed for Warrior. Like, why wouldn't you just Brawl at that point?
Because you can only run 2, Palmer.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but, like...
This offers a bit more versatility than Brawl.
But why not just play Gorehowl?
Because you can
I get that
unlimited.
I get that you can do 4 in one turn if you want to, but just, like... I as somebody who plays a shitload of Control Warrior, I can't recall in a situation where this would be better than anything else that I had in my arsenal.
I don't even know, like, all the cards Control Warrior 1s off the top of my head. I haven't seen a Gorehowl in a long while. But I don't know what you would... Yeah, I don't know what you would swap out for this. But I think it definitely has potential for those type of decks where you just have 8 million fucking armor and it doesn't matter how much damage you take. Especially since people are now fucking around with Upgrade thanks to Pirate decks. But again, I don't know why you would run an Upgrade in a Control Warrior deck. But some people might try it. You don't know.
Yeah.
But if you did upgrade this, that would be kind of nutty.
Yeah, it turning into a 4/5. That would be
pretty fucking nutty.
Good. I didn't even think about that actually, but yeah. But you have to sacrifice something for fucking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like taking I don't know, dude. It's times like this when I wish that this game was 60 card decks. But
50 is the right number. Trust me.
It's neither here nor there.
Moving on to the next warrior card, which is a common spell. Ironforge Portal. Gain 4 armor, summon a random 4-cost minion.
I think that's a pretty fucking good card.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of really high-value 4-cost minions.
It just seems like Warrior can gain so much more armor, but you do throw something out on the board. I don't know. It might see play. I honestly like never touch Warrior because I don't have the cards for it, so I'm not as familiar as you. But I'd give it somewhere on the okay average type deal.
I mean, you have to. This would be the type of card that you really have to hold for when you get the most value out of it. Like, if you can hold off until like turn 6 or something like that, play this, gain 4 armor, throw down a shield bash, destroy whatever's on the board, and then all of a sudden you have board presence and the enemy doesn't. Like, if you treat this as a value card, I think it's very good. If you treat it as something that you play on turn 5, I think it's awful. But if you can hold off on it, but it's like that with anything that you put into a control warrior deck. Pretty much, you're holding everything for value. Everything like matters more than you just can't be willy nilly with your spells, Tim.
You just got to armor up and then drop the Justicar and then armor up and do nothing for 20 minutes and then kill your opponent.
Oh, yeah, exactly, and that's the only way warrior should be played.
You're fucked in the head.
I want a 45-minute game of Hearthstone, Tim.
That is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
What I can't wait for is the day when they like add some sort of card that just like when you play this or like when it gets destroyed or whatever, return all 30 cards to your deck. So it just starts all over again, Tim. I really have just 2.5-hour games of Hearthstone, Tim.
It's not about winning, it's about getting your opponent to kill themselves.
Exactly. That's all I do with Hearthstone anymore. It's just for the memes.
That's all Hearthstone's about anymore, Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, last warrior card is a rare spell, Protect the King. 3 mana cost, for each enemy minion, summon a 1/1 pawn with taunt. When I initially saw this, I was like, holy shit, this card is awesome. And then I thought about it for 3 seconds, and I don't see this seeing much play, honestly.
The only thing that I can think of where this will ever see play and might be more valuable than Release the Hounds is if you have a bolster in your hand.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
If you can play this down, that was the only thing that went through my head when I read this card.
What is that? It's 2-cost spell, isn't it?
Yeah, and everything. All minions with taunt get +2/+2. So if you're playing against an aggro deck, you throw this. If you can just wait until turn 5, you throw this down. You throw down a bolster. This is actually not a bad card, especially if your opponent has 7 minions on the board, which isn't hard for fucking aggro decks these days.
Zoolock or something.
Yeah.
That's my thing. My thing with this card is Warrior has so much like removal as it is. Like I just don't know why they would take this. And the bolster thing's a good idea, but that's 4 cards. Like what 4 cards of? Unless you're building a new deck, like what 4 cards out of certain warrior decks are you taking out to fit those 2 in?
Yeah, no, I mean it's still a very situational card, but I think if nothing else, I'm gonna experiment with it, at least personally, just because I think it does have potential. Even if you don't have the bolster in there, like potentially throwing down 7 minions and preventing the opponent from hitting your face for a turn while you get yourself set up to do something better, like. With Warrior can buy a lot of time, so even if it doesn't end up being that great, like I can still see myself throwing one of these in, just one, and using it as a very situational card. But we'll have to see how it turns out after playtesting.
Alright, that brings us to the neutral cards. First one up is Arcane Anomaly. It's a 1-cost 2/1. Whenever you cast a spell, give this minion +1 health. This is a card I initially thought was kind of awful, and I thought about it, and this card's actually pretty good. It could fit into a lot of different decks for a lot of different classes. And even something like coining it out on turn 1. It's 2/2 on turn 1, but, you know, Druid has the 2/2 beast. But I think this card has potential to fit in a few different decks.
Maybe.
Because it's 1 cost.
If you can keep it out.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Methinks.
Not bad.
Methinks.
If you're living the dream and you manage to get like a spare part with like stealth or something and then cast it on there, like, oh man, that could be pretty good.
Conceal Rogue Boys.
Yeah. Living the dream.
Next card is a Runic Egg. It's a 1-cost 0/2 Death Rattle, draw a card. Why? It's kind of my line of thought for this.
I mean, I guess if you really want to try to buff it, could be decent.
I just don't see this. Working.
Yeah.
Doing anything.
I don't really see it. The only thing that I can think of this being possibly played in is Mill Rogue. Because if you can like cold blood this or something like that, and then turn around and swing with it, draw another card, like you're just keeping that card, or Miracle maybe, but like that's really the only situation that I can think of where
Yeah,
this
it's
might
one
see
cost,
play.
so you could use it to buff up Edwin and shit, but it's just such a... As a card, it's just meh.
Yeah, you can use it to fuel combos, but it's not bad. We'll see what people can think of doing with it.
Next up is the Netherspite Historian. I'm real stoked for this card. It is a 2-cost, 1/3 battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, discover a dragon. It's kind of like that priest card, the 2/1 that discovers a death element, except you have to have a dragon in your hand. But if you're running a dragon deck, you tend to run at least like between 8 and 10 dragons. And historically, as someone who's played a dragon deck for about a year before I stopped, that's not very hard. Pretty easy to accomplish, rather. So I think this card, especially with the new Paladin card, I'm really looking forward to running this shit and trying it out. Because there are a few dragons I don't have the dust to craft and I don't have, and it'd be nice to grab them like that. Because that's what I've done with Museum Curator, and it's worked out pretty well historically for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll take your word on it. You're the dragon player, not me.
Bargain. Since Whispers, I'm the Zoth player. I've played maybe 2 dragon games since Whispers came out, so I'm looking forward to getting back into it. And this card has 1 more health than Museum Curator, so that's nice. Even though it still probably won't really do much. Because it's 1 attack. But hey, Discover. Fun. Next card is the Pompous Thespian. It's a
My favorite thing about this card is the fact that he's holding a Noitron's head.
He is holding a Noitron's head. It's a 2-cost, 3/2 taunt. It's basically power creep over Frostwolf Grunt. And it still probably won't see play at all. It's a 3/2 with taunt. You'd much rather have a 2/3 with taunt. Like the bear, the Robo Bear Druids had for GVG. That's all.
Just because you're into hairy men doesn't mean that everything needs to be a bear, Tim.
Where did that come from?
I'm just saying.
Alright.
Just saying. That's all.
Alright then.
Talking about bears left and right.
Bears?
Bears everywhere.
Care Bears.
Exactly.
Next up is a 3-cost, 1/3 Pantry Spider. And its battle cry is to summon another 1/3 spider. It has the beast tag, but it's a 1/3. It summons another 1/3 for 3 mana. I don't see it seeing much play. Because what does a 1/3 spider do? Nothing. What does 2 1/3 spiders do? Nothing.
Nothing.
So, yeah.
That's a pretty shitty card.
Next up, Violet
Also
Illusion.
lives in your pantry, dude. Like, who the fuck wants to play a spider that lives in its pantry? Like, what? I don't know. That's silly. It's a pantry spider. Fuck it.
Fuck it indeed. Next up, Violet Illusion is 3-cost, 4/3. During your turn, your hero is immune. Could see some hilarious things happening with this card, but the thing is, it only has 3 health. But if you have something like a warrior or a rogue or something where you have a weapon, it could be pretty good. Like if you combine this with the new warrior card, Fool's Bane, it could be awesome. But that's card slots in your deck that you probably want something else there, and that's really a dream situation. But there's a lot of potential hilarity with this card, but I don't see it making it into like a viable constructed deck, really.
I honestly, I'm seeing synergy between that and the warrior weapon, Fool's Bane. You throw down Violet Illusionist, throw down Fool's Bane, all of a sudden you take no damage from each of those 4 swipes.
Yeah, I literally just said that.
Yeah, that's really it.
But that would be pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
But
That's
again,
really
it's only got 3 health, so the idea of it surviving very long is pretty,
But if you play Protect the King, Tim.
Or if you're running like a buff deck and you can buff the shit out of it somehow, it'd be pretty good. Keep it from dying. If anything, it's a soft taunt, so it's got that going for it.
Protect the King.
Protect the King. But you're missing out on a 1/1 if this is on the board, Palmer. What do?
Heaven forbid.
Next up is a Zoobot. So a 3-cost, 3/3 battle cry. Give a random beast, dragon, and murloc +1/+1, and it has the mech tag. Now, I know you were kind of You kind of thought these Zubat, or not Zubat, you kind of thought these weird Beast, Dragon, Murloc decks might be kind of a cool thing to fuck around with. Now that you've actually, and this was when the Legendary was revealed. Now that all three of them are out, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's actually something that might be viable?
Do I think it's viable? No, I don't think it's viable, but I will still try to fuck around with one and make one viable.
It's a funny idea, but yeah, just in practice, I don't see these cards working out terribly well.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with it.
Next up is a Arcano Smith. It's a 4-cost 3/2 Battlecry summon a 0/5 minion with taunt. I just don't think this card's very good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty shitty.
But the bolster value, Palmer.
Oh, just fucking shitty, Tim.
Shitty card.
Yep.
Menagerie Magician, a 5-mana cost 4/4 Battlecry. Give a random friendly beast, dragon, and Murloc 2/2. Again, I just don't really see these decks being a thing.
Until all of a sudden they are a thing, Tim.
Yeah, they're fucking tier 1. It's
Yeah.
destroying the meta. Everyone's complaining.
I
Longing
can't
for the
wait.
days of Aggro Shaman, Zulok, and fucking Control Warrior.
I just can't wait.
Next up is the Avian Watcher. It is a 5-cost 3/6, but its battle cries if you control the secret, gain +1/+1 and taunt. I think it'd be really good for Wild, for like a secret paladin. But like even trying to fuck with some kind of secret hunter deck, I don't know, because those secrets pop kind of quickly. And,
I think this would be much better if it had the beast tag on it.
Yeah. Maybe something, like, I don't know what the fuck you would swap out for, but maybe in something like a Freeze Mage or some type of long game tempo mage where you have, like, an ice block up for a while could be good, because you get the value off it, but I just, don't see that happening. What are you going to swap out for it?
Not much. Not much. It's got a lot of competition for 5 slot.
Yeah, it's... I mean, ideally, force them with taunt for 5 is good, but just the condition of having a secret out is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And you're running secrets. What the fuck are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
So. Next up is the last dragon card for this adventure. It's a Bookworm Dragon. It's a 6-mana cost, 3/6 Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, destroy an enemy minion with 3 or less attack. Really excited about this card at first, and I kind of soured on it because it's basically a shittier Kodo Stomper. But it's a dragon, so I'll try to make it work.
Honestly, I don't think it's too bad. Generally, like, if you're going to play a dragon deck, like, what are you going to be playing against? Aggro. It's pretty effective against aggro. Gives you a powerful body. Yeah, it costs 6 mana, but you destroy something and you get... I mean, it's basically a Shadow Ward Pain attached to a relatively decent-sized body for 6 mana. I think it's okay for value. I mean, I don't think it's anything to, like, fucking run around screaming about and being overjoyed with, but I don't know, I don't think it's as bad as everybody's saying it is.
I'll definitely try it, but it is kind of just a shittier Kodo Stomper in my opinion. But, I don't know, it's a dragon. I will try to make it work, Palmer. I will try my damnedest.
I work.
Next up, Moat Lurker. 6-mana 3/3 Battlecry. Destroy a minion. Death Rattle, resummon it. Sylvanas counter? Confirmed?
Is that what it is?
That's immediately where my brain went. Because everyone runs that fucking thing unless you're running like a fucking Faces the Place aggro deck. Everyone runs a fucking Sylvanas, and that'd be a pretty cool thing to do. I love the idea behind it. I don't know how practical it's gonna be, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some interesting synergy, I guess.
It's more of a late game card, but I'm gonna try. I really like the idea behind it.
Yeah.
Just taking out basically stealing something from your opponent. So yeah, and even if they silence it, you've already stolen it. So good stuff. Next up, is probably one of my favorite cards from this expansion is the Arcane Giant. Did we see any giant with the Whispers of the Old Gods?
No.
Oh, yeah, the last one was Frost. It was a Frost something giant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's been a while since we've seen a giant, and this one is a 12-mana cost 8/8, costs 1 less for each spell you've cast this turn.
Yep.
This will definitely see play in spell-heavy decks like Mage and whatnot. I even think like something like your standard Freeze Mage will try to fit this in, take out something to fit this in.
Be prepared for just even more fucking...
My greetings.
Just
what the hell's the name of the legendary that came out with Whispers of the Old Gods? Summons a spell for every spell that you cast. Not N'Zoth.
Oh, Yogg. Yeah, this would fit in the Yogg deck pretty good, too.
Go real well with the Yogg deck. Real well with the Yogg deck, since those are always so spell heavy anyways. I mean, you can easily get this down to a 0 cost with no problem.
Yeah, so you could fit this into like a Yogg Druid deck, too.
Yeah, there's plenty of potential for this thing. I think it's a pretty decent card.
Alright, now all we have left are the legendaries.
A lot of them, I think, are just absolute horse shit.
You want to do the legendaries?
Sure. Yeah, we'll start with Moros. It's 3 mana, 1/1 stealth. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 steward. I think this is probably like the worst fucking legendary card that Blizzard's ever released.
They've put out some pretty bad legendary cards, but this is pretty awful. It's like a shittier Imp Master.
So the only thing that I was thinking of that, well, I got this from Crip, and I can't take credit for this, but like the whole fucking
Skipperino, Cripperino.
The steward that gives
the Paladin
everything
card.
With 1 health.
Divine
Shield. That's really the only thing that I can think of that if you could do that, then
it would still suck.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there'd be. The good news is there's value there if you can turn around and play a blood. Whatever the fuck. God damn it.
Oh, knock off Divine Shields, get plus.
Plus 3 for each one.
Blood Knight.
I mean, yeah, something like that. Because of the fact that they all have stealth, it'd be pretty hard to knock their shields off unless you've got AoE, so there's potential for all of a sudden that card to skyrocket out of control if you can get that combo off. But
well, the stewards don't have stealth. The stewards are just 1/1s.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Well, yeah, I don't know. This thing would have to stay in play for so long for it to have any value.
Maybe if you're running some weird like buffs, and you could buff this thing up, but again, you're just getting a 1/1 at the end of your turn.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty awful card.
Pretty awful.
Next we have Barnes. It's a 4 mana, 3/4 battlecry. Summon a 1/1 copy of a random minion in your deck. Also a pretty fucking awful card.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
No, I'm not.
N'Zoth decks?
It's a random deck. Okay, so on the off chance that you manage to get that fucking N'Zoth out of everything else.
No, you don't. Well, you don't want the N'Zoth. You just want anything with a death rattle, which N'Zoth decks tend to only exclusively run.
I guess I just don't think in terms of death rattle that much anymore. Like I never.
This is the death rattle card. This expansion, like, I mean, the dream is something like a Sylvanas, but even like a Karn or a fucking infested Tarn. Like, there's just so many things you can pull out. Not only does it give you, whatever effect it has, if it has an effect, it also lets you resummon that creature when it dies, and you pull out N'Zoth. So you could, get 2 Sylvanases when you drop N'Zoth or some shit like that. I think this card's gonna be great for fucking N'Zoth decks.
Yeah, I don't know.
I play a lot in N'Zoth, Palmer. I don't know if you knew that. I'm down with N'Zoth.
Next, we've got the card that I personally feel is the best card in this expansion, and the whole reason that I'm going to even buy this fucking expansion right here. Prince Malchezaar. It's 5 mana for 5/6 when the game starts. Add 5 extra legendary minions to your deck. So it's legendary minions that your deck does not currently have in them.
It can't be off-color legendaries, though. I discovered that.
Right. So it's only going to be legendaries of your class or neutrals. But that's fine. Yeah, dude, I really think it is.
There's a lot of shitty legendaries, and any good legendaries you're probably going to run in your deck anyway, so you're not going to get extra copies of them.
Right, but you have right. So you're not going to get but I don't know. I think there's plenty of decent ones that you can still utilize pretty effectively. I think this is really just a perfect card. I'm looking at this from a Marino perspective, and I really think that this is a perfect addition.
It's definitely one of the more fun cards that Hearthstone's put in their game.
I mean,
and it's a 5/6 body, so it's not completely awful stat wise. For 5,
I think it's just one of the better cards that Blizzard has designed. Period.
No one's gonna run this card in a competitive type deck, though.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think it could work.
It's just the thing is you're shuffling 5 extra cards in your deck when you want the cards that you put in your deck to be able to play them. And like I said, like there are a lot of fucking good legendaries you can pull from this, but there are more. I'd say there are more shitty legendaries you don't want than legendaries you do want. Just because you can't pull, like, if you're running, like, say, a Warlock class, you can't pull, like, a Mage legendary and shit like that. I think if that was a thing, this card would be immensely better. But because of that, like, you're pulling, like, either shitty legendaries from your own class you don't really want, or you're pulling neutral legendaries, and a lot of them are terrible.
I don't know. I think my experience with Hearthstone has been to believe in the RNG.
I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah, at some point you just got to embrace it and just... Whatever you randomly get, that's just 5 extra opportunities to turn the tides against your opponent. That's all the only way that I look at it, and I think because of that, it's pretty good. It's going to be a very underestimated card.
I will try it strictly because it's a demon, and I run in Wild. I run a demon Reno deck, and it'd be pretty funny just to throw this in there and see what happens.
Yeah,
but I do like that it's they put some sort of fucking demon in an expansion.
Yeah. Next we got the Curator. This is the kind of the card that like sparks me trying to figure out what kind of bizarre Reno deck you could even design with this expansion. And the Curator is 7 mana for a 4/6. It's got Taunt, Battlecry, is draw Beast, Dragon, and Murloc from your deck.
I think with some synergy from the other aforementioned cards like Menagerie Magician and Zubat, it's got potential there. I think it'll ultimately just lend itself towards, like, I just want to fuck around decks. But I think we'll see a lot more of them, at least in the higher up ranking, or not, the lower ranks. I think it offers a little bit of potential for some interesting play. I really do like the card. I just really like the design of those 3 cards in general, because it offers, like, a lot of incentive to just kind of go against the grain and try to design something new. So by like designing a deck without synergy, you're gaining synergy, and I kind of like that.
It's an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, because like you can't do it like Murlocs don't offer synergy to dragons or beasts, and there's nothing else that none of those cards offer synergy to each other. But by playing with this and playing with these cards, all of a sudden you have, like I said, just a really big incentive to play with cards that you wouldn't necessarily play with, all lumped into one deck. It's like Blizzard's way of creating like in Magic you can do like multiple mana pools. Like you can have like a blue and red deck, or like black and green, or whatever the fuck you want to do. And this is kind of like Blizzard's nod to that. I think by going through with all these different creature types, you're all of a sudden creating something that is kind of trying to use all the assets that it can from different opportunities that I wouldn't normally look for. So, I don't know, it's not a bad card, I don't think.
I think the best variations for these decks are just to, like, exclude Murlocs, personally, because there are a lot of decent Dragon and Priest tech choice cards you can take, like an Azir Drake for draw and spell damage, or a Kodo for killing an early game minion. But just the idea of running all 3, it's fucking memey. Like, there is no denying that, but just in practical playing the game, I don't know. But like you said, it opens ideas for new types of things that people who build decks in this game and actually play Construct haven't really thought of before. So,
yeah, exactly. I really do hope they continue with this idea here. The whole like playing around with different card tags in one deck. I hope they continue building upon that, because I really like what they're trying to do there. I don't think they're quite nailing it with this expansion, but I think if they continue with it, it'll be awesome. And then finally, we have a ridiculously good card. At least I think. I've heard kind of mixed things from people on this.
I like it.
It's Medivh the Guardian. It's an 8 mana 7/7. Obviously, it's a legendary. And it's Battlecry. Equip Atiesh, the Great Staff of the Guardian. Atiesh is a 1/3 weapon. Whenever you summon a spell or summon a minion, right?
Whenever you summon a random minion after you cast a spell, summon a random minion.
Right, summons a minion. Yeah,
and it loses 1 durability, and it has 3.
Right. So, 1, it gives all classes access to a weapon, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's the first time it's been done, hasn't it?
Yeah. So all of a sudden, priests and mages are going to have access to a staff that they never had access to before. I think if anybody ever tries to use that charge on that as like a ping, I think that'll be a serious waste of a charge. But it's an interesting concept. I think it definitely lends itself very well towards control mage and control priest. Not so much control warrior, because warrior's removal costs usually 1 mana. So
Because it's balanced.
So I don't think it'll be that effective on warrior, but other classes could probably get some serious use out of this.
Classes with like higher cost spells, like mage or paladin, some stuff like that, where you'll have those spells in your hand by the time you drop this on the board. They will definitely benefit from it.
Yeah. The one thing that I will say is if this manages to gain traction, we're going to see weapon removal like crazy again. So it'll be interesting, to say the least.
It'd be a shame to see that put in a museum, Palmer.
It really would, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? You just imagine that belongs in a museum. Let's just draw 3 cards. Fuck you. I can't wait.
All of a sudden, attacking for 1 is viable.
I just can't wait to start playing Control Warrior again. That belongs in a museum. Oh, just well played, left and right.
Alright, so that is all the cards in this adventure, 45 in total. And it's being spread out among 4 wings. It's being released first wing, and the prologue comes out tomorrow, the August 11th, and then each week for the next few weeks. They're going to be releasing a wing where you go through the bosses and you get the cards and yada yada yada. This is, if you're even remotely familiar with Hearthstone, you know the deal. We haven't seen a big thing with these adventures with me is just it's kind of some of them kind of suck, but some of the bosses that you face are actually genuinely fun to play against.
Portals, Tim,
all the portals. So we can't really review that obviously because it's not out yet. But as a whole with the cards, what do you think, Palmer? This adventure.
With just the cards, I think this is one of the shittiest expansions that Blizzard's ever done.
Yeah, I would have put it nicer, but yeah, this is definitely arguably the shittiest expansion Hearthstone has ever put out. But again, we haven't actually seen the bosses, and there might be some funsies in that. But card-wise, yeah, there are a few really good cards in this, though. But there are a lot of shitty cards that no one would ever play.
Yes.
Like, ever. And there's some straight-up power creep, which is just hilarious. Pay to win, boys. Gold to win. But I like the idea that, there's even though there's only a few cards, just a few new dragon cards. I really haven't touched Hearthstone that much lately. I've been way more into Elder Scrolls. But the idea of fucking around with some new dragon decks has got me excited. And I'm telling you, dude, Barnes and the Zoth, that's going to be fucking bananas. Bananas, sir.
Absolutely. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
What are you really looking forward to fucking around with?
I mean, I pretty much already kind of rattled them off. I'm really looking forward to fucking around with the synergy, lack of synergy meta that's coming through here. That's what I'm dubbing it. I can't wait to start messing around with that, and I can't wait to start messing around with. Hold on, let me pull up the card list again because I just fucking closed it.
Medivh?
I honestly like. As interesting as I think it is, I'm not too sold on it. Protect the King. I'm really interested in messing around with that, and Prince Malchezaar. I'm really interested in messing around with that.
I'm interested that I find it interesting. You're really as a concept, I really like Prince Malchezaar. I think, adding more cards to your deck is probably not a good thing. But it's the memes, Palmer. They are unreal.
I think this is the way that I look at it. Like when you're trying to do Reno, I find myself in plenty of situations where I don't have the necessary tools to deal with what is on the board. If I throw 5 extra cards into my deck and it doesn't interfere with the fact that I can play Reno and still gain full health, then it's just, no matter what they are, it's 5 more opportunities that I can try to come up with something that will keep me alive.
Yeah, but see, the bad thing about that is it's 5 cards that keeps you from Reno. But yeah, we're going back and forth. But we can both agree that this card is fun, and it could potentially just outright amplify your deck immensely, or it could potentially just completely ruin your deck.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I really like it. It's kind of like Yogg in that sense where
Yeah.
you never know what you're going to get from it, but it's a hell of a lot of fun to have it in there.
It's a perfect comparison. It could absolutely just murder you when you're at like 30 health, but god damn it, it's fun.
Like what? Okay, hold on. What if you design an arena deck and just like throw some random Cthulhu guys in there, and then you get Cthulhu from Prince Malchezaar? Then, I don't know, dude. Just be so memey. I don't know. It's interesting, I think.
One thing we forgot to
But then
point
you can
out.
turn around and get Moros, and then they'll just be mad.
That would be pretty funny. One thing we forgot to point out, Blizzard has come out and admitted Purify is so bad it won't be an arena. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the first time they've ever done that, so it's kind of funny. They excluded the Cthulhu cards, but that was because of Cthulhu synergy, and it wouldn't make much sense. But it's kind of funny they printed the cards so bad they're not putting it in arena.
Yeah, that doesn't. When he said that, like at first I was like, all right, I've given him the benefit of the doubt. Like he was just trying to design something fun. Yeah, they fucked up. But then all of a sudden he was like, oh no, we're not putting this arena. I was like, all right, so you guys really acknowledge that you fucked up. Like I get it. It's awesome. I'm glad. Just change the card. You saying it's not going to go in an arena doesn't help things. Like completely redesign the card. It's fine. Just release a new patch and just say Purify has turned into something different. It's now 2 mana instantly win the game.
And Priest would still be tier 9.
And, yeah, exactly.
It is kind of amusing that, like, fucking if you frequent the Reddit, over the past few days after they announced Purify, there were literally, like, dozens of examples of here's how to fix Purify. Here's a card that should be there instead of Purify. Here's, a way to not have a shitty card in the game. And, like, so many of the examples were actually spot on great, and, Blizzard will never implement them, but I get the idea of adding the card in for fun, but why do it to the worst fucking class in the game currently? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No goddamn sense. But even though it may be Hearthstone's weakest expansion to date, I think it's fair to say both of us. It's going to get both of us back into Hearthstone.
Yeah,
we're going to pick it up. We'll have fun. Yeah, exactly. So
I've realized that this expansion, everything about it is just, it's all about the memes. It's really just trying to be memey. The fact that it's a massive party inside a tower that a party should not be taking place in, like in Warcraft lore.
And
like
there's
everything,
a disco ball. Like,
and
it's
yeah,
just so
dude,
fucked.
It's all just a meme. Every last thing about it is just a fucking meme. That's really the bottom line.
Meme Stone is in full effect.
Yeah, just be prepared for meme expansion 2016
Expansion.
and
Memeception.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, enjoy it.
All right, well, that brings us to a close. If you enjoyed this, we've done Hearthstone videos for both Wave Explorers and Old Gods, and in both those videos you can actually see Palmer and his magnificent face. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed us, we do a live cast twice a month. Next one will be in a couple weeks because we just did this. And follow us on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, Dark Mushroom Media, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.